BJ Board Game Gumbo, I've got my guest here, Julie from Greenbrier Games, and we're talking about some spicy hot games that she's played recently, I hope. And one of those is Chai from Steeped Games, and you got a chance to play it.
I played it back, so I got the opportunity to play it when it was before it went to Kickstarter,
right?
Because somebody was doing a preview of it, and I happened to live with that person, so I get to play a lot of games that are going to Kickstarter before they get to go. And even then, back when it was like they sent it out they had actually bought little cups to send because they didn't have any manufacturer copies, and then they had these beautiful little bowl cups
and all the tiles.
Yeah,
I mean, it was actual. I was expecting like little things.
And it was so much fun. So I played with Robert and Daryl Andrews, who's another designer. So you've got a board game reviewer and a design. Like, it was the best possible, like, most magical. Get to sit down and play. And you're playing, and you're gonna make tea, and it's gonna be, and it's, of course, it's again much like Bears, beautiful but mean. Very take that. You're trying to, different paths, and I killed both of them, and it was great. So I really I love the tile placement. I love the sliding and the puzzly piece of that. I love the different ways that
I got so caught up in all the little pieces and
the little pieces, and you think it's going to be too intricate, but it's really not. It's a midweight game. It is not heavy at all. And super.
Yeah, I would say I wouldn't call it that midweight Euro. It was a little bit less than that, but it still had some pretty strategic decisions, which I like.
It leans to the lighter side, but it gives you enough of those choices that I don't know. I enjoyed the concept, like the story behind it of making tea. I enjoyed the visuals of it. I got the pacing of it. I guess maybe that was it. There's enough choices, but it's still light enough that you can actually be put off by how quickly it'll end. Because you start to think of, like, if you play heavy Euros more often, you start to think of the long game, and it's not that. So that I actually feel like you can get tripped up on. There is deep decision making, but it is still pretty light, so it goes quickly.
We're making him thirsty.
That was the experience I was getting.
We're making Steve thirsty. He says, "I need a cup of tea." He'll be right back.
Yeah.
One of the cool things what I liked about Chai. Now, I'll tell you, Thomas, I don't know a lot about the high tea expansion, so I can't talk about that. I only played the base game in that prototype form. But one of the things that I did like is, and hey, kudos to them. The production that they gave us was ready to play. So a person like me who really needs that visual, I like that kinetic energy from seeing all the real pieces moving around instead of blank scraps of white paper. But the artwork, it kind of reminded me of sort of like that Disney fairy tale look. Does that make sense? The Grimm's tales, that kind of storybook fantasy type thing. Not fantasy as in high fantasy. I'm talking about that.
No. Like the storybooks, like the
storybooks.
Right.
Like Sleeping Beauty.
But in truth, also, not you. I have hand-painted teacups that were my grandmother's that I inherited.
I do not have those.
Yeah, well, I started to say it and then...
Exactly, Steve.
Yeah. But they look like those teacups. So the other day I just moved and I'm in the middle of unpacking, and I found the teacups, and I went to put them down just, somewhere so that I didn't like crush them as I'm trying to put away my regular plates and bowls. Sure. And I look over, and the chai box was right there, so I put them on top of it and took a picture. And they look like they're part of the box. It's really I don't know. It's lovely. It makes me feel fancy.
An accessible. If somebody asked me, I'd say an accessible Euro, not quite midweight. Something that you could play with just about anybody, but that has this production quality with lots of colorful bits. It's going to look really good on the table.
And the designers are the nicest human beings.
I've never met them. Yeah. I'd like to see what that.
So nice.
I'd like to see what that expansion adds, if it kind of kicks it up a little notch or not.